So, in this segment, we're going to be talking about another Met Police officer, which is crazy because it feels like when we talk about police forces, it's mainly the Met Police. And, he broke someone's leg, in a clear case of racial profiling. So, this scumbag here, PC Charlie Harrison, he just ran up to a black person, and it's way worse than the way I'm describing it now. Once we go into detail in the article, we'll realize how bad this person is. He ran up to a black man in front of his child, and hit him with a leg sweep and fractured his leg. Like, the amount of force I think you'd have to use would be a lot, considering that it fractured the man's leg. So, a Met police officer jailed for breaking the leg of a black father in front of his teenage son did so in a clear case of racial profiling, and it will become clear how aggressive this police officer was when it came to racial profiling, given how dodgy his defence is of his actions. So Carl Abrams left a cemetery in East London with his child on the 31st of December 2018 after laying flowers. So he's waited a long time to get justice. On their walk home, he was targeted by PC Charlie Harrison. Judge Gregory Perrins said there was no doubt that had Abrahams and his son been white, Harrison would have simply drove by. Harrison was jailed for 2 years and 3 months on Monday at Southwark Crown Court, being convicted of grievous bodily harm (GBH). So, had the victim been white, he probably wouldn't have been a victim. But given that he was black and this police officer here clearly has a problem with black people, decided to run up on this guy. He stopped his car, ran up on him, and decided to break his leg. Hit him with a leg stick, boom, fracture. It's genuinely crazy. So Harrison was jailed for 2 years. This police officer was driving an unmarked police car in Forestgate as part of the Violent Crime Task Force. Clearly he didn't get the memo that he was meant to stop violent crime, not perpetrate it. He approached Mr. Abrams, who had taken his son to the cemetery to visit their mother's grave, and performed a leg sweep to knock him to the ground. So this person, the victim, and his son were already going through a traumatic time. The victim was visiting his late partner, and obviously his son was visiting his late mother. So that's an already traumatic experience. Going to a cemetery is one of the hardest things that most people will do, because visiting the ones who have gone is genuinely very difficult. I find it very difficult anyways. And this police officer, I just, absolute scumbag. Why do this? I don't understand. So Judge Perrin said the victims had done absolutely nothing wrong, nor had they behaved in a way that would be deemed suspicious. They were simply a family returning from a cemetery where they had gone to visit the grave of their partner and mother, respectively. Having heard the evidence at trial, I strongly suspect that the reason that you stopped Mr. Abrahams and his son was because they were black. So he did this in front of his son. He assaulted a dad in front of his son. The judge continued, during the course of the trial, your counsel unsuccessfully sought to put the jury the contents of your daily briefing document, which showed that you were looking for a variety of black men, each of whom were wanted for violent offences and knife crime. So his defence was, look man, I was looking for black people, and some of these black people, they've done some violent offences and knife crime. So I saw this guy, I ran up to him and I leg sweeped him. I did what had to be done, because this man could have been dangerous. The victim could have been dangerous when he had no evidence that the other person was dangerous or being suspicious. He did this. This was just a random act of violence you perpetrated on a person because of, maybe not as random because it was a racially motivated attack, but you had no reason to do this. This is just assault. Because you just assaulted someone because of their skin colour. Ridiculous. This, in my judgment, according to the judge, is a clear case of racial profiling. Mr. Abrahams spent the evening in hospital, and an x-ray revealed a fracture at the top of his shin bone. The leg was placed in a cast and he had to walk with crutches for 3 months. So you can tell it's quite a bad fracture. He was unable to return to work and had to work from home, the judge said. So, this man could have cost the victim his employment as well, because had he not been able to work from home, that's it. He would have been out of work for 3 months. Because I don't think sick pay lasts for that long. Also, the fact that sick pay in this country is very low, especially compared to our European neighbours. Mr. Abrahams described how he had given up on football and running as a result of his injuries to his knee. He also described how even now, 3 years later, his son his sons are fearful of the police and believes they remain at risk of being targeted because of the color of their skin. So he's not this scumbag police officer has traumatized this man's kids who are black and probably already had a fear of the police. It's just ridiculous, undermines confidence. So Mr. Abrahams complained to the IOPC in January 2019, and it was decided that the Met should investigate. I mean, the Met investigating their own police officers, despite the fact that it looks like they've come to the right conclusion this time, is ridiculous. It should be ran by an independent group of police officers or another police force entirely. So this other police officer, Paul Betts, said his actions, talking about the police officer who committed the assault, were found to have fallen well below the standard we expect of our police officers with a man left badly injured. This type of behaviour has no place in our police service and undermines the confidence of the communities we are here to protect. The complaint investigation also reviewed whether the officer's actions were racially discriminatory, and according to the judge they were, and this will be considered as part of the disciplinary process that follows. So most likely this guy, the police officer, hopefully won't have a job in the police force. I just can't, man. I can't understand why you would do this. This man evidently is very racist, and the question is, how did he get through the police vetting system? Do the police not vet against this sort of stuff to weed out any racist applicants? I don't understand, but anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.